Welcome back for another top-notch video. This week, guys, we'll be talking about the week of 15 February through 19 February. As always, the top-notch channel is about the Thrift Savings Plan, and that is the TSP, which goes over the C, S, I, and F fund. If you're in Roth IRA or brokerage or the market accounts, we go over the ETFs, which are IVV, VXF, EFA, and AGG. Now, these translate and kind of equal each other, so these funds here are the S&P 500. These are the small caps, international markets, and bonds. We go over a general overview of some commentary of the different funds, where we sit, and basically a technical analysis for these funds, and kind of give you an idea and training of where you think you should look at going forward with the market. If you have questions or concerns or comments, please write those down below. And as always, please like, subscribe, or share if you like the content. Let's get right into it. So the first thing we like to look at on the Top Notch channel is the Thrift Savings Plan TSP Talk. They have some great things. They show how the markets move for the week. Really great website. Definitely recommend you check them out. So for our funds this week, as you can see, the F, C, and S fund were down for the week. That is VXF, IVV, and AGG. We're all down for this week, as you can see here in the red for the week. The C fund is still up, the S fund is still up, and the I fund is still up. And the only fund that did make money this week was the I fund, just barely squeezed out a gain there. For our kind of broad overview analysis in regards to the different funds, as you can see here, this trend line was drawn in here by the commentary here. Tommy V does some commentary on this. Really recommend you check him out on the TSP Talk website. Drew this in here. We really thought that the C fund would really break this trend line here. It did not. Kind of continued downward for the week. As far as the S fund goes, or VXF, it did break that trend line. We thought it was going to move above that, decided to move down below that, and now we're back in this kind of limbo area here. This could now act as resistance moving forward. The I fund was more interesting. We have some open gaps that were not filled on this chart. Open gaps tend to be filled by price, which are these little bars in here. We did move out of our trend lines, which is concerning to see. Hoping to move back into that trend line this week, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll go over that in our technical analysis. And then finally, bonds really failing here, going below its 200-day moving average. These charts are really starting to flip. Not a good place for bonds. Some opening spaces up here, but I don't really foresee anything moving forward. Let's jump into our technical analysis now. We're going to start it off with IVV, or the C fund. On this chart here, on FinViz, they drew this trend line in here, as you can see, and it's been going since September. We were above that in the middle of February, so that kind of triggered us to really getting involved in this fund on the Top Notch channel. Still kind of above that, waiting to see where that will go. It could be a 50-50 shot, move up to the top or the bottom. We'll see on our technical analysis where we think it'll go from there. Speaking of our technical analysis, let's move into that for IVV. Long-term charts, we look at short-term and long-term charts. We like to look at two indicators to kind of make things simple on this channel. The two indicators we look at are the derivative oscillator, which are the green bars and red bars back in the background here. Typically when the charts are going from the green bars down to red bars, this is price up here, so it's a two-chart interval. Price tends to go down, so green bars down to red bars, price decreases. Red bars to green bars, prices increase. That's what we like to see in regards to the derivative oscillator. We like to look at basically a red, yellow, and green symbol or signal. And green is get in the fund, yellow is proceed with caution, and red is kind of get out of the fund. The other indicator we like to look at is called the PPO line, which is the price percentage oscillator line. Basically, it's this blue line staying above the moving average, which is the red line. When blue is above red, price tends to increase. When blue drops below red, price tends to decrease. Those are our two indicators we like to look at. And then we kind of give you a stoplight consideration of basically where funds should go from there. So let's look at our charts for this week. What are we seeing? Guys, the Top Notch channel last week, or 2 weeks ago, decided to get involved in IVV or the C fund, because we saw this price jump up here a little bit. That was a very positive sign for us. Something we were looking forward to. And then this week we dropped back down here. Not a positive sign here. So this is negative for derivative oscillator, positive for the PPO line. So we're at a proceed with caution or yellow with these funds on a long-term basis. On a short-term basis, What are we seeing? We're seeing the derivative oscillator in the negative. We're seeing the PPO in the negative. That is a red. Do not get involved in the short term. The Bollinger Bands are starting to come together a little bit. That's that kind of bluish versus white space out here. When it's in the middle, it can tend to go towards the top. Price tends to stay in the middle for the most part. So we're getting here towards the top. A lot of room towards the bottom. We might see a move from us this week to move out of this fund. Please check our Facebook and Twitter accounts if we make that move. We only have 1 week in February, and we can make that move for this last week if we decide to do so. Let's move into our next chart, which is VXF, or the S fund. This fund did pop above just for a little bit there, above that trend line, then kind of lost some steam this week. Now we're kind of back in to see if we can get above that again. But we do have a lot of trend lines and whatnot down here to act as resistance if we were to bounce off that. Let's look at it from a technical analysis and see where we're at. As far as VXF goes, long-term charts, we use the same exact indicators. Long-term charts don't look super good. As you can see, the derivative oscillator is still going down here. That is a red sign. PPO line is still above that red there. That blue is still above red, so that's a green sign. So we're in a yellow. Since we have one green, one red, that makes a yellow for us. Proceed with caution. Long-term charts for VXF. Prices continue to move up here for a number of weeks. On a short-term basis for VXF, not seeing the greatest signs here. As you can see, the PPO line is below that red moving average line. That is negative there, but this is good. This is a yellow sign here. We are moving out of that red here, but yet a yellow and red sign is kind of intermixed. Kind of don't really want to get involved. If we make a move out of this fund, we'll let you know this week, guys, in our Facebook and Twitter accounts. Please follow those. Moving forward, we're going to go into the next fund, which is International Markets Efa, or I fund for those thrift saving plans, folks. As you can see with this fund here, at the very top of our trend line. Very interesting. We do have some open gaps in here. I just would stick away from this fund for right now, because if you look at it from a technical analysis, long-term charts for EFA, what are we seeing? Here you can see we are in the negative here. This line is just too close. I'm calling that a negative as well. So 2 reds here. That means on a long-term basis, you don't want to get involved with EFA or the I fund. Short-term basis, we were also 2 negatives here, negative here for our 2 signs. Price has kind of just been sitting around, not doing a whole lot for quite some time here. I would say since the 11th or 12th. I would say, yeah, the 12th. It's kind of been not really up or down. And with our 2 negative signs, probability is for negative charts on EFA. I wouldn't be involved in that at this time. Moving on to AGG, what are we seeing? Look at this trend line, guys. Big trend line being drawn ever since the August-September time frame. This fund has just been not doing very well, not doing very hot. If you are in the life cycle funds, could be a little bit rough since you do have some allocation in AGG. I would stick away from this bond fund. It just has not done very well since the beginning of the year. Every time it hits this bottom trend line, it tends to jump up a little bit, so we are at that point again. But I would not put the money in at this point at any time soon. We'll look at that from a technical analysis, and we'll kind of show the same picture here. Long-term charts for AGG, what are we seeing? Look at that. Not even one positive bar for our derivative oscillator. PPO line way below the moving average. 2 negative signs there. That's a red on our stoplight. Do not get involved in fun. These funds, look at all the red on this chart. Not good for AGG. On a short-term basis for AGG, what are we seeing? Still looks like kind of negative here. Not a positive sign, really. We kind of want to see this jump more out. Price is way down here. Even if it jumped out of the Bollinger Bands, never really made a great recovery there and continued downwards. Our PPO line is above our moving average. I would stay out of it for the short and long term moving forward. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please write those in the comments below. Where's the top notch sitting at? Our channel is currently based in 50% C fund and 50% S fund for this week. We jumped in that for this last week. We really thought the C fund kind of gave us that indicator of long-term charts to kind of get involved, kind of jump in. We haven't been involved in charts really for the entire year yet. We wanted to get our piece of the pie, and it turned out not to be that great with charts heading back down. We could see an early jump out on Monday or Tuesday back into cash or the G fund, just kind of ensure we protect our capital. So far this year, not super productive year based off charts, but we will continue to fight. We still got another 10 months to go in this very long journey for the year moving forward. Again, we really appreciate you guys watching this Top Notch channel. Please like, subscribe, or share, and that's another Top Notch video. We'll see you guys next time.